Hey, what's up everyone? I'm Nick.
Alex.
Welcome to Nick and Alex. 今日はね、銃社会とか銃について話したいんだけど、does Russia have guns or no?
Well, it's supposed to not have guns, but I'm pretty sure a lot of people still have them left since the 90s. And
Oh, it was legal in the 90s.
No, but just like nothing was illegal in the 90s.
Yeah, it was like the Wild West.
Yes.
もう何でもありだった。Yeah, obviously Japan doesn't have guns. And I think for Japan that's really great, because it's safe, right?
Yeah, Japan doesn't really need... I mean, I don't feel like I need protection when I'm
Exactly. But for me, the thing is, I don't think Japan needs guns, but I think America is like a completely different type of country than Japan. I mean, it was a country based on guns, like the Second Amendment.
Right.
アメリカの憲法に銃を持つ権利はあるっていう。
Right, so like guns and liberty are kind of...
Yeah.
Right?
And the reason why is because when America started, they wanted to make sure that no government could try to take you over, or the American government couldn't turn against you, basically.
Right.
Which is a good intention, of course, right?
But do you think this is why you have guns now? Is it how people used it?
Yeah, I think it is why people have guns now. And so, just to give you my, すごい簡単に言うと, my stance is basically, I think America should have guns, and I think Japan does not need guns.
Okay, but can you explain why you think America should have guns?
The reason I think America should have guns is because it's impossible to get rid of guns.
Okay.
And, I mean, there's more guns in America than there are people.
Wow.
アメリカの人口よりアメリカの銃の数の方が多いの。And and I think if the government did try to take away guns, criminals wouldn't be like, yeah, sure, here's, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It'd be heaven for criminals.
Yeah, well, whenever I guess something is illegal, that means that, it still exists, but it's just not controlled.
Also, the other thing is that it's so funny, people who complain about guns and think the government should take them away are also people that hate, like, for instance, Trump.
Okay.
So you want to get rid of guns, but you hate Trump, but you want to give all your guns to the Trump administration.
Yeah, well, I guess they hate Trump and guns as emblematizing something of the same kind.
Yeah. Well, I mean, there's obviously faults with having guns. I mean, not faults, but I mean, there's no school shootings in Japan, or gun violence.
Well, yeah, that's, I think, one of the things that I wanted to say is that sure, you can protect yourself, but also there is a lot of violation of how guns are supposed to be used. So you are the only country that we hear of, like, someone just went and like shoot a couple of people just because.
And that always becomes news, right? But I know for a fact that there's plenty of news when guns saved people's lives. When there was a criminal doing something and a normal citizen was brandishing, or not even just brandishing, he might have shot the guy. I don't know. Yeah. I mean, there's books you can read about it, because the statistics that we read on the news about guns are obviously skewed, from the media companies.
Well, I think it's a news thing to talk about bad things, not about...
Yeah. I mean, like, I'm pretty sure I've read this, that Australia, there was a terrible, horrible shooting in Australia.
Oh, yeah.
And after that, they did a gun buyback, where basically the government buys guns back, and people are like, it's so safe now and stuff like that. But I've heard that since the gun buyback, that more people have guns. I mean, they just bought guns after selling, like, it's just accumulated back up to where it was before.
Right.
I don't know if that's true, but
but is it legal in Australia?
I don't know. I'd have to ask an Australian person, which is why I said I'm not sure about that.
Okay. But
I've read that before. The other thing is that it's, kind of a strange thing to say, but America really is, at least for now, the leader of the free world, right? I mean, I'm not saying anything good about it. But I think it sets an example for the rest of the world that the American government can't do whatever they want to their citizens.
Yeah, well, I guess, I can see your point there, and that's something I do admire about the States, that, you don't have a dictator who is, like, ruling for 20 years.
Yeah, it's amazing because, like, and I don't mean to get, like, I don't want to get too political with this type of stuff. I don't want to get, like, pro-Trump or anti-Trump or something like that. But people call Trump a fascist. But think of all of the stuff that people say against him on the media or in protests and stuff. Yeah. If he was a real fascist, you wouldn't be able to do any of that.
No, they will be like...
I mean, could you do that in Russia? Could you do the things like that?
You could technically do that, but there is also a risk that someone's going to come and knock into your door and be like, you know, hey...
Well, I mean, there's also been instances of, like, the federal government, I guess, like, grabbing protesters or something and putting them in cars and everybody's freaking out about it. But I can imagine that on such a more mass scale in Russia.
Well, it's certainly on a more mass scale and it's more violent. Like they can literally beat you up in the police car or at the police station or something like that.
Yeah. I mean, guns are, it's a difficult issue, but I have to say, in pro-gun America, Japan doesn't need guns. I mean, it's amazing that my kids can just, you know, at some point walk to school or...
Yeah, but actually the funny thing is I would trust Japanese people to carry guns if they wanted to, because I don't feel like...
I trust them, I would trust them on a day-to-day basis, but there's also some scary things like that I worry about Japan, like for instance Corona, like everybody just buys into stuff from the news a lot faster here.
Yeah, okay.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I don't know how you relate that to the gun issue.
Or it'd just be dangerous if there was a large amount of people holding guns and like some
like
leader person says something, then they all...
Fair enough.
Yeah.
But like on everyday basis, then I would guess I would certainly feel safer if Japanese people had guns than if like Russian people had guns, for example.
Yeah, well, I mean, Japanese, like at least living in Japan from my own experience, is a lot less confrontational in general, right?
Yeah,
Would you say so? Like people are a lot more, まあ気を使いお互いの they think about the other person before they act. Like in America, like you just like if you're in a bar, there's gonna be a fucking fight.
Wow.
悪い言葉使っちゃった. Yeah, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to America.
Yeah, at least, but I'm sure it's like that in Russia. I mean, if you go to like a bar like that we drink at, sometimes at one point in the night there's gonna be some type of fight. I assume.
The places that I go to normally don't have that, but I guess you know.
You're not really going to the real Russian.
No, I'm not going to the real
Russian. You look at all these videos on like the internet of just Russians like...
No, but that's exactly the same thing as you said, you know, they always show you the bad thing about guns.
Yeah, that's true.
So, but coming back to the topic, I guess, then you do trust Americans to have guns.
Well, there's like gun activists. There's a guy named Maj Tori, I don't know his name. I don't follow him or anything like that. But he says all gun control is racist. He's a black dude, and he has Black Guns Matter thing. And his thing is that by the government restraining African Americans from having guns, it makes it so criminals in those communities are the only ones with guns.
Right.
And then normal law-abiding citizens end up becoming victims.
Yeah, okay, I see. I can see a point. I guess maybe we are more informed about how guns are bad than how they are good for...
Well, they say an armed society is a polite society. I've heard that word before.
Well, I don't know. Japan seems to be a very polite society to me.
That's very true. But, I mean, yeah, Japan's great. It's perfect without guns. But, I mean, it would be really hard for citizens to fight back if anything ever happened. Not that it would happen. I don't think it would happen, but...
I guess maybe things happen more often in the States.
Yeah, but I mean, what about Russia? I can imagine things happening in Russia too.
Yeah, but I feel like if the government comes for you, it doesn't really matter whether you have a gun or not.
Well, I don't think it matters in the States either, because the government's going to have bigger and better guns.
Well, it'll just have more people and...
Yeah, but at least you get to go down with a fight. And that's what's important about it, is having a stand against some type of injustice.
Yeah, but, you know, with all the kind of drawbacks and possible risks of people misusing the guns, I'm not sure whether that compensates for, you know, just being...
Well, I mean, a lot of the shootings and stuff are obvious mental health issues. Kids that were on SSRIs, like antidepressants, and there should be very thorough background checks, right? I don't think it should be impossible to obtain one, but I think that there needs to be a little bit more scrutiny when it comes to...
Yeah, I guess I would sort of agree that maybe if there is a really, really like thorough scrutiny of people that do get guns, maybe I can see why that could be allowed. Yes.
And it also just depends on the state. So, for instance, say you live in Montana or something like that, you're not bumping into people. You're not in these huge cities. Like, cities aren't good for people anyway, I think, in some ways. I mean, they're great. But do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know.
Like, you're congested, stuff like that. So, I don't know. Was this informative? I hope.
Well, 皆さん、tell us.
どう思います? Yeah. They're fun to shoot, I can tell you that much. They're really fun.
That's true.
Yeah. And when you're a responsible gun owner, and you're not a crazy idiot, you are more polite and you're more conscious of the consequences that somebody's life can be taken if you proceed with the wrong actions or something like that, so.
Oh,
okay,
yeah.
All right, see you next time.
See you.
Bye.